Welcome to Module 6. We're going to cover the Trust Model 1, the Statutory Trust, and also the Trust Model 2, the Irrevocable Trust. Understand that the format that we'll discuss or that we'll see and follow in these models, it's not granted. There's really no granted format or no concrete format for a trust to be formed. Only that the elements that we discussed in terms of the listing of the trustees, listing of the beneficiaries, and so on. Those necessary elements that comprise a trust need to be listed, but the order and style in which they're listed, there's no concrete structure for that. Just remember that. However, the structure and the format that we'll discuss in these modules, that is the standard format that you'll find throughout trust law. So we're going to start with Trust Model 1, and we're just going over the verbiage and ironing out anything that may seem foreign or that may not be understandable at first glance. So we have our announcement. I, John Trust, residing in Trust Town, New York, declare and make this irrevocable living trust. This living trust shall be known as the John Trust Revocable Living Trust. Now, although the word revocable is in here, you would not need to put that in your titling. The grantor does convey the property listed on Schedule A. And here we have the announcement of the property being transferred or conveyed for the trust. Remember, that's one of the elements of a trust, that property must be conveyed. And that's clearly stated right here on this first page, which will comprise our declaration. It doesn't necessarily have to, but all of these components and elements are by definition the formation of the trust. For example, you need to have your intent, you need to have a trustee with duties, you need to have beneficiaries, and you need to have a conveyance of property. This first page covers all of those provisions, all of those prerequisites. Therefore, this page can serve as a declaration, a comparable declaration that there's a valid trust. The grantor wished to ensure that this property and any income derived from this property is managed and subsequently distributed according to the following terms. Okay, so remember, we have our trust purpose, which is our section 1. This living trust is created for the benefit of the beneficiaries to ensure they are well provided for after the death of the grantor. However, during the lifetime of the grantor's interests shall be primary above all beneficiaries. With this purpose, the primary asset management goal for this living trust will be the protection of the property and its value. The secondary asset management goal for this living trust is to generate income and growth at a reasonable risk. So we see that the primary goal for this trust is the protection of the property and its value. Now, this is an asset protection trust basically, because the grantor is clearly stating that although a trust, an irrevocable trust, and most trusts in general are to provide for the beneficiaries, most grantor trusts are basically just alternate accounts for grantors or for people to manage their assets through a different entity. During the lifetime of the grantor, and while the grantor is of full mental and physical capacity, the grantor will serve as the primary trustee of this trust. Okay, remember we discussed that in a revocable trust, the grantor is usually the trustee, as well as the grantor, as well as one of the beneficiaries. He cannot be the sole beneficiary because there is no title split. Upon death of or during the incapacitation of the grantor, the spouse of the grantor, who is also a successor trustee, also residing in Trust Town, New York, shall serve as acting trustee of this trust. If the grantor should recover such that they are no longer considered incapacitated, the grantor will resume control of the management of the trust. So should anything happen to the grantor's wife will serve as acting trustee of this trust. And that is a common theme that you see among grantor trusts. Upon the death of the grantor, the following individuals will comprise the beneficiaries of this living trust: the residuary beneficiary, which is the spouse; the heirs, according to descendancy; and then you have your jurat, or your notary. Now, if you don't add this notary, then this page is just the first page of the full body of the trust. However, adding the notary to this particular page, and you can add it to the end pages as well, makes this a declaration because of all of the components listed that comprise the trust. And all of this information would be sufficient for most entities to do business with this trust, because the pertinent information that by definition describes or denominates a trust is on this first page.